New laws passed the Parliament this week requiring individual companies to publicly report the gender pay gap in their organisation. It brings to fruition an election promise from the Albanese government. Let's bring in Dr. Rachel Howard, one of the founders of Gender Equality Strategy from the Equal Workplaces firm. Rachel, thanks for your time. Why is this legislation important?
Well, for the first time in Australia, it's really going to focus the mind of employers with regard to their gender pay gap across their organisation. The gender pay gap has not been reported at an individual company level previously. It's been reported at an industry level. But from early 2024, companies will have their gender pay gap reported publicly on the Workplace Gender Equality Agency website.
How long are we talking about to close this gap, do you think? What's the research showing there?
Yeah, well, at the moment it's showing it's going to take about 26 years to close the gap. So this is going to make a big difference in terms of the level of transparency that it will drive. It's very difficult to predict, obviously, when it will close and how much of a difference this will make. But the reality is it's different from one organisation to the next. It's different from one industry to the next. And if you look at the gender pay gap across Australia, it's currently at 13.3%, which is certainly down from where it has been in the past. But in other industries, such as construction, it can be as high as 16%. So it will be different from one industry to the next. And this is really going to focus the mind of employers and really prioritise this issue in a way that hasn't been possible before and hasn't had the same level of transparency before. And they're really going to have to take some meaningful action within their organisations to make a difference here.
What's your sense within the corporate world as to the willingness to engage with this new program? As we've mentioned, there will be public declarations of the pay gap. What's the mood, do you believe, within the corporate world as to getting on board with this?
I think there is a willingness, and the corporate world has done a lot to move forward on this in terms of recruiting more women, promoting women, but not enough. There's been a lot of efforts, there's been a lot of talk, but there hasn't necessarily been enough action at employer level. And where there has been action, perhaps it hasn't been enough to change the gender pay gap within their organisation. Having this reported publicly on the Workplace Gender Equality Agency website is obviously going to make it very, very public and very, very profound for organisations. It can be really difficult as an organisation when you're inside and you're close to the people to identify what needs to change. And so one of the things we do at Equal Workplaces is provide that external perspective. Get in there, do an audit of what's happening, look at their WGEA data, speak to the women who are in their pipeline of talent, and then work out a bespoke gender equality strategy for them so that they can see the way forward. And that external perspective can be really, really important.
Rachel Howard from Equal Workplaces, thanks so much for your time. I appreciate it.